Welcome everyone today to Mavenlink's Academy Custom Fields, Files tab, and Checklist webinar. We're excited to have you with us today and walk through some of these new features. So before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to the Mavenlink Academy training team. My name is Melissa Bonney. I'm the Senior Director of Training and Corporate Account Management here at Mavenlink. I come to you with a background in education and a degree in psychology.
Hello everyone. Like Melissa said, we are so excited for you guys to be here today. My name is Laura Fryer, and I am a Trainer and Corporate Accounts Manager here at Mavenlink, and I have a background in business as well as psychology. A couple of housekeeping items before we start, mainly pertaining to our questions. So if you have any questions for us today throughout the presentation, make sure to direct those to your chat window, which is on the left-hand side of your screen. We're going to collect those up until the end of the presentation today, and we'll address as many of those as we can in the last 10 minutes.
So to provide you a little background on the webinar topic today, Mavenlink polled and surveyed you, our customers. We wanted to know what some of the pain points and challenges that you encounter in your day-to-day business lives. Now the feedback that we received from you, that was through our support channels, live help chats, discussions with Mavenlink trainers such as Laura and myself, and interactions with our client experience representatives, helps guide not only this webinar topic, but also our feature development and Mavenlink's roadmap. So your feedback is very important to us, and it helps us and allows us to understand what roadblocks are standing in the way of your organization's efficiency. Now today we're going to walk through some of those pain points and the solutions that we've developed to make some of these pain points a thing of the past. Mavenlink's had the benefit of learning from the mistakes of its predecessors, and because of this, we've set out to build software that was easy to adopt, and that addresses the first challenge our prospects had experienced with previous technologies. From Mavenlink's easy-to-use interface, we have a customer training and support team and continuous access to updates and releases. We strive to build an elegant interface and user experience that enables you and any organization to get up and running on Mavenlink in a matter of minutes. And just to help you understand this, Mavenlink users report over 90% adoption within the first 30 days. And should you ever have a question, we have a live chat and support team that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have Mavenlink Academy trainers and a world-class service organization that's ready and willing to provide a red carpet treatment for you and all of your clients. Now, Mavenlink Academy trainers have surveyed some of the customers, and 95% of Mavenlink customers say that they are 100% enabled on the platform after just 1 hour of training. In addition to high adoption rates, you also need a tool that's going to allow for project efficiencies. So it said that 48% of all service companies fail within the first 5 years due to inefficient management practices. Now, Mavenlink empowers teams to work, contribute, and manage projects from any location. You have complete access to business history, and all discussions, files, financial, schedules, and business decisions, they're all captured in one place. And best of all this information is in a place that you can access from any device from anywhere in the world. So from team collaboration and task management to Gantt charts and budgets and time estimates, Mavenlink allows you a more holistic approach to the health of your projects. In fact, Mavenlink customers that were surveyed reported an improvement in profit margins of 6 to 15% just as a result of reduction of inefficiencies.
Along with this easy adoption and solid project efficiency, Mavenlink also provides you an effective way to manage your project's financial health. In particular, what I'm referencing here is your margin. Mavenlink allows you to see your projected and your actual margin by project, by client, by project status. And you can do this at any point in time with a simple 2 quick clicks of your mouse. You also have the ability to choose a date range. So if you wanted to see your projected and your actual margins for the Q1 of this year, then you have the ability to access that really quickly in Mavenlink. Mavenlink is the first project management tool to combine project financials and allow you to manage your profitability on a project-by-project basis. To give you some stats here, according to Forbes magazine, the highest average service sector has a net profit margin of 16.5%. We at Mavenlink looked at that and decided to survey our Mavenlink customer base and found that 65% of Mavenlink customers report profit margins above what Forbes reported as the average, so above that 16.5%. Going above and beyond this, 30% of our customers have over a 25% profit margin. The last pillar here you're seeing is resource optimization. Questions like, who is working on what? Who is available to work when? Are any of my designers even available to work full-time for me next month? Are now answered within Mavenlink. Mavenlink offers you that real-time insight into your organization's available resources to make sure that you are fully utilizing them to their utmost potential. Again, this is available in real time for you with those simple 2 clicks of your mouse. More stats for you, kind of a side note. To maximize your return on investment, proper resource utilization dictates that resources should be, at a minimum, 75% allocated to projects. Now I have a question for you real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, so all of my projects I work on, I need a place to put my client's information so I can easily reference my client's email, contact information, phone number, for example. Is there a place to do this in Mavenlink right now?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that, Laura, because one of the items that we heard that was impeding people's abilities to be efficient with their projects is that they had the need for specific information that needed to be communicated to their team members in a project. So previously, what we had customers do is they would type messages and they would pin those messages to the top of the project. These messages may include customer email address, passwords, dimensions of images, passcodes, those types of tax information, those types of communications, and they would pin those to the top. We also had customers that were putting in the project descriptions, scopes of the projects and things of this nature, which is great and fantastic, but the project description was unable to be searched. So Mavenlink developed custom fields, and that's our solution to this. So with custom fields, and the beauty of it is they are exactly that, they're custom. You can create whatever specific codes or information that you need, you can create fields to capture that information. So you have that flexibility now to incorporate those project codes or the email addresses and the phone numbers. Any project priorities, any special information that you want to reference, you can actually search that information in the project list after you created that special field.
That's great. That's perfect.
Well, the other thing it's going to do for you is it's now going to help you standardize your project setup. Your team members now know exactly the information that is required of them and that they need to populate. They can quickly reference that information, and don't forget, in the project list, it's searchable, so it's indexed to be searched. And you're also communicating that necessary information not only to the team members in the project, but potentially across your organization as well.
I love this. This is definitely going to work for my projects.
I know that you're excited about it.
I know, and the fact that they're searchable, I think that's awesome.
Well, let me share with you how you can actually set them up so you can go ahead and get started. So one, Laura, you have to be an account administrator or an account owner. You go into the account settings. There's a custom field section within there. You will then create and customize all those fields that you would like to have that are specific to your organization. Now, after you've created them, your project leads and admins in specific projects can now go into the project settings, and they can populate the information in these particular fields. Now, once they've done that, all users within that project that are in a provider role are going to be able to see all these populated fields. So they have access to see the passcodes and the dimensions for the images and all that information in there. Now, where they'll see that is there is a project description icon that's to the left of the Mavenlink Academy question mark within the workspace. If they click on that, that's where that information is going to show.
This is absolutely perfect. Thanks, Mel.
My pleasure. Now, Laura, I have a question for you.
Sure.
When I'm working projects in Mavenlink, I've been loading an awful lot of files into one particular project, and I need to be able to access one file really quickly. How can I do that?
Sure. I actually hear this a lot. So I've heard this where you need a quick reference at the project level to see what's been uploaded. So there's contract details, those site images, those interview recordings or logos just associated with that specific project. And current customers were doing that in the global task tracker where you could see it across projects. But We now have the answer for you at the project level. You have a File tab now. So on the far side of your activity feed, you can see a File tab over there. And you'll be able to access just those files that are uploaded into that one project.
Well, since we're talking about files, Laura, can you tell me what kinds of files can I upload in Mavenlink?
Yeah, I'm actually really glad you asked that question for me. So you actually have no limits on what type of files are uploaded into Mavenlink. So lots of flexibility. You can upload literally any type of file. The only limitation you will have is the file size. So depending on the type of user you are in Mavenlink will depend on that file size limit. So for instance, if you're a Premier user, you have a max upload file size of 5 gigabytes. And if you are a Teams user in Mavenlink, you have a max upload file size of 2 gigabytes.
All right, perfect.
Yeah. So what will these files tabs do for you? Like I said earlier, this is going to make your files, you'll be able to find them more efficiently. You'll have a lot of flexibility in this Files tab view to go in, to view, to edit, and delete those files all in one place. From the Files tab at the project level, you'll also be able to access the task lightbox. So if you have that file uploaded and it's linked to a task, you'll be able to click into that task from this Files tab, and this will allow you to toggle through to resource planning, to the task details, to the linked post dropdown just for that task. So this allows you to go in and to work that task like you would normally in the task tracker. So for instance, you can go in, you can assign a resource to work that task, or you can start the task, you can complete it, all within that Files tab. So going back to the pain point on the previous slide, you can now access those contract details, the site images, the recordings, the logos that have been uploaded just for that one project in one easy-to-use view. So you now have kind of like a project folder of files for you to access.
Oh, I think that's going to be really helpful for me to quickly find my files. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So going on to this slide here, difference between the Files tab in your left-hand navigation versus the Files tab in your project. So I like to refer to the Files tab in your left-hand navigation as your global Files tab. So this is across projects, all of those files that have been uploaded into all of the projects you are participating in. And then on the right-hand side, you can see a screenshot of your local Files tab. These are files that are just uploaded into the Sabre Technologies Taxes project. So in your global view, so the one on your left-hand side, you have the ability to view, to search across projects. So to view and search those files that have been uploaded across projects, you'll be able to see the linked posts as well as jump into the project from there. And then jumping over to the right-hand side, our localized view of files here, you have the ability here to view, to see the linked posts. You will also have the ability to download and delete from here as well. And you can access that associated task information. So like I mentioned on the previous slide, you can go in and work that task directly by clicking on the task from this view. Both of these views will give you insight into the information regarding who uploaded the file, the date it was uploaded, the file size, as well as you have the ability to go in and search both of these views. So both globally and locally allow you to search.
Fantastic. So I have another question for you, Laura, but this one's going to be a little bit more difficult, I think.
Shoot it. Let's hear it.
Well, I have a task that I need to complete, and I have a number of items that I want to capture. I want to be able to track that information a little bit easier. I want to make sure that I remember where they are, but I want to streamline my task tracker so that I don't have a very robust looking task tracker. So how can I do this in Mavenlink?
Yeah, I'm actually glad you asked this. So we used to suggest putting this kind of information in your task description. This was a little inefficient though because it didn't give you when those items were completed and it didn't tell you who completed them. So we have a solution for you now, and that is task checklist. For example here, your task is gather materials. So let's say you need to gather materials for a project, and those materials you need to gather, for instance, paper, pens, camera, highlighter. Those are the checklist items that you would want there for that task, but they don't actually warrant a specific task. Another example could be here, finalize the design on the project. Those things you need to finalize, the color, the layout, the fonts, the image placement. Those are those things that need to be finalized, but they may not warrant its own complete task. So this is where your solution checklist items are going to come into play.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what will these checklists do for you? What these checklists are going to do is they're going to clarify your expectations, so giving you those materials and those to-dos within a given task to make working a task more efficient and more complete of a process, to make sure that task gets done complete and to your expectations. So you're clearly defining the steps of what needs to be reviewed when doing that task. It allows you to reference those required items for that specific task. So again, these are the items that don't necessarily warrant their own subtask or task from here. They tend to be those little reminders. So I kind of like to think of those items as those that you go and you write down on a yellow lined sheet of paper while you're thinking through what needs to get done. Kind of like a grocery list, so going through, just marking through, yep, got this, need to do this, quick check mark of what needs to be completed. So once those checklist items have been completed, your resource can go in and check them off their list. And this will give you a date stamp of completion for that item, as well as let you know the resource that completed or gathered that material, for instance, and when they did it. So circling back to our pain point on the previous slide, I mentioned those materials that you need to gather. You can now have those pens, the paper, the highlighter, the camera as your specific checklist items for your gather materials task. They don't necessarily need their own task, but you also want to make sure that those are double checked and marked as, yes, I got these, good, we can move on to the next checklist item here. Same thing with our second example. You do not need a whole task for color, for layout, for font, for image placement for your finalized design task, but you do want to make sure that those 4 items have been double checked and checked again that they are actually finalized, and so this makes it a perfect qualifier for a checklist item.
Thanks, Laura. It's helpful to know that I have an area to put all my kind of quick to-dos that I just need to quickly reference. Now, how do I get started? Where do I put my checklist items?
Yeah, so you can get started in any task details view. So anytime you can access the task details, you can access your checklist items. So for example, you can find these in your global task tracker, your file tab like we mentioned earlier, and your schedule, just to name a few places. These are going to pop up as your task lightbox. So in your task lightbox, you're able to work these checklist items as well. And so you'll see that completion stamp, you'll see that resource, who worked it and completed it right within any task details view. These task details, they populate for any task, any parent task, subtask, any deliverable milestone task as well. So literally any task you put into Mavenlink will have these checklist items that can be completed.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I'm glad we could get to that today.
Well, I know we've covered a lot today, and as a reminder to the folks on the call, please submit some questions. I see questions are coming in, and that's fantastic. So if you have any questions on checklists, custom fields, or file tabs, please use that chat feature, and we'll walk through those questions in just a few moments. Now, I also wanted to give you some information about resources. If you're interested in signing up and learning more about Mavenlink, there are plans, and maybe even more about Mavenlink Premier. You can send an email communication to sales@mavenlink.com. We are also always available to answer any questions that you have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through our live chat and support channels. You can access us at support@mavenlink.com or go into Mavenlink and click on the live chat feature. If you want to start your journey towards becoming a Maven and sign up for some in-depth customizable training, please feel free to reach out to us at academy@mavenlink.com as well. Now we're going to go ahead and take some questions here. So I saw some questions coming through. We have David, and he asks, Laura, what plans within Mavenlink are these features accessible to?
Perfect. I'm glad you asked that, David. That's a great question. So you have checklist items are available to everyone on Mavenlink. So if you are a Mavenlink user, you can access those checklist items. Files tab are available to Teams and Premier users only, and custom fields are available to Premier only. Great question, David. I'm glad you asked that. Let me see here. It looks like we have a question from James. James has a question for you, Mel, I believe, regarding custom fields.
Okay.
He asked here, are custom fields exportable?
They are actually. So when you are in the projects list view, that's when you click on the word projects in your left navigation, you can actually export that projects list into CSV or Excel. If you do that, you will see the custom fields exported right there with you. So again, those are exportable in the projects list view by clicking projects in your left-hand navigation. You're going to see an export option on your right-hand side. Thank you for that question.
Yeah, great. Let's see if we can find another question here. All right, I think this one is from Chelsea. Can you see checklist items in your global task tracker? Yes, you can see them because they are available there in your task lightbox. So not directly right there for you, but you can click on the task and access those checklist items, Chelsea.
All right, we have a question here that's coming from a couple of people actually. Timothy, Thomas, are the file size limits that you mentioned, are they per project or are they per file?
They are your max upload file size. So great question, the three of those users. Yes, so they are for your max file upload size. So that's saying you can upload a file that is 5 gigabytes or 2 gigabytes depending on the type of plan you are on in Mavenlink.
Right, and so that's per post. So you can have multiple files, it just can't exceed that limitation there. All right, I have another question here. It looks like it's coming from Jeff. Are Google Docs included in the File tab? I saw something that said Google Docs was coming.
Yeah, so you caught us right in the midst of a feature release, actually, Jeff. So it did have a little marker there saying Google Docs are not yet included. There was a quick period in between there that Google Docs were not included in our project's file tabs. They are now, so you can access all of your files, including Google Docs, within your Files tab at the project level.
All right, I see another question. Are there fees for signing up for Mavenlink Academy classes? And so, yes, so there are Mavenlink training packages that you can purchase. You can email us at academy@mavenlink.com and we can give you the different package pricing. So yes, we do offer Mavenlink Academy training packages.
Awesome. Looks like Sarah has a question. How often is Mavenlink doing these webinars?
I can answer that.
Oh,
so
yes.
We are doing these webinars on a monthly basis, and just to give you a sneak preview of next month's webinar, we have a fantastic feature that we are extremely excited about. It's time and expense approvals. So time and expense approvals are going to be coming in Mavenlink. We're going to walk through that together next month in our webinar in September.
Perfect. Let's see here if we can find some more questions. All right, let's see. Looks like Chris has a question here. He says, can I delete a checklist item once it's marked complete? Yes, you can. So great question. You are able to delete checklist items even if they are completed, marked complete, and you do have the ability to go in and delete them then, as well as if they are not complete as well. So any point in time you can go in and delete a checklist item. So to answer your question, yes, once it's marked complete, you do have the ability to go in and delete it.
All right, so I have a question here from Dorothy, and she said, I'm a little confused about how to enter a checklist item. So I'll walk you through that again, Dorothy. So what you would do is you go into your project, into your task tracker. You're going to open up the task detail, which is it's the little lines with a little arrow going down. Click on that. It's going to expand the detail of a task. Now, when you're in there towards the right-hand side, there's going to be a little section that says checklist. Just go ahead and type some checklist items in there and hit enter. It's going to appear a little checklist when those items have been completed. Simply check them off, and it will save the date stamp and the resource who completed that item. Great question, thank you.
That is, it looks like we have a question from Ryan. Ryan is asking, how do you add a custom field to the project once it has been created?
Great question. So again, to add custom fields, before you can see them, your administrator needs to enter the different fields that they would like you to populate. Now once those are entered, anybody that is in a project as an admin or lead can go into project settings. So if you click on the gray gear button in a project on the right-hand side, it says Manage. You'll go into project settings, scroll about halfway down, and you'll see all of the custom fields that your administrators created for you. Now you can populate any or all of those fields. Any populated fields will then show in that project description icon that we talked about a little bit earlier.
Perfect. Looks like we have one more question here from Mandy. Mandy's question here is, who has access to the information entered in the field at the project level? I'm thinking this is with regard to custom fields. Again, Mel, sounds like it. So the question again is, who has access to the information entered in the field at the project level?
Okay, so anybody that is a participant in that project on the provider side. So in Mavenlink we have the consultant side and the role and the client side. So anybody that's in the consultant side of the house will be able to see that. Looks like we have one more question here. Can you delete a checklist item that has been logged?
Yes, I think we covered that a little earlier. So yes, you do have the ability to delete a checklist item once it has been completed, as well as if it hasn't been completed as well. So yep, you do have the ability to delete checklist items.
It looks like we're getting a little close to time, but I do want to address Timothy's question on, is there a best practice reference for Mavenlink? Yes, there is. We actually have a knowledge base that you can frequently visit if you'd like. You just simply click on Support in the left-hand side of your Mavenlink. It's a big blue button typically. You click on Support, just click Mavenlink Support, and it will bring you into the Mavenlink Academy knowledge base.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you all for your time today. Again, I am Laura Fryer. And this was Melissa Bonney presenting as well. We really appreciate your time today, and we look forward to having you next month.
Thank you, and we'll go ahead and take a look at all of the questions that you asked so that we can go ahead and answer them potentially on our knowledge base as well. Thank you again.